your front line diving fairly deep, right? You know, if you have Kiana, flashing in for an ultimate, sometimes you can hit that piercing arrow over the top, or you follow up, with the chains of corruption. You can have a very high amount of burst.
I imagine in the 1v1, but yeah, there's going to be a little bit of a time waste for him. Could be looking towards BDD though.
Gonna run towards that middle lane. BDD needs to get the hell out of here. Chovy's on the chase. BDD flashes and face plants in the wall. Gen.G claim first blood. The Rulers had, but again, it's another summoner that's been burnt by KT that Gen.G haven't had to invest. Ruler was able to just walk across here. Cuz looking for the steal.
And it's kind of a flip situation. This time it's KT trying to get access to that dragon.
Duro on that front line. The hook lands onto Peter. Cuz gets the root down. Piercing arrow again onto Duro as he falls low. He has to flash away. The knock back onto Chovy. Separates the fight. Drake secured by Gen.G. Double flash of the root still onto Ruler. Dokdam looking to put the arrows into the back of his enemy man. The Realm War back as Peter's getting onto that backline, but Gen.G immediately turn and burn. But Canyon is the one who is aflame. Hero's entrance will not be a good exit for Chovy as now he needs to escape the clutches of KT. They've already lost two. Gen.G trying to get Ruler out of here as the chase down towards the bottom side. Chovy against Cuz has to burn the flash, but finds him still. KT come out on top.
A mistake early in game 2 when you're already down one is tough.
And on the other side, how hype are KT feeling, right? Coming into this, as we see Peter look for the engage onto Duro, we'll get the trample down, the hook's gonna land as Cuz dives in. Supreme display of talent, the Nautilus falls first, but meanwhile the Crescent Guard from Canyon keeps him alive. Peter gets the knock up and a knock back. Ruler gets the shutdown though as two will fall. Gen.G bite back in the game.
The grubs off the back of this as well. Ruler in prime position to be able to carry now. 1K up this early.
And it shows how quickly these games can swing. Like, we were literally in the middle of talking about how KT had a really good early game, and now the gold basically even, 2 neutral objectives to 0 in favor of Gen.G. They get all 3 grubs.
One more wave, then probably look for the base, but I mean, Peter is chunked out. The base just now coming in from Perfect, so there's no way you can contest. Gen.G gonna be able to grab this one, no problem. And they are the ones now with 2 early dragons here. It's going to be an Ocean Soul up for grabs.
He's looking to cut Duro and Ruler off from an easy path up towards the river. Canyon realizes it, backs away from the Herald, which will reset its patience in a moment. Chovy TPing in. The hook's going to land, though, as they look for Peter. Flashes in, headbutt pulverized, Supreme display of talent as well, but only onto Chovy. The redemption comes out as Ruler. Arcane shifts forward. He wants part of this fight. Canyon with the Crescent Guard. Chain of Corruption will lock him up, and it missed times as they go in. Ruler able to pick up one. Another hook coming out from Duro. The depth charge on the back line into the taunt from Chovy. Gen.G rule the rift as KT can find nothing.
Gen.G showcasing their incredible team fighting here. That was just immaculate. Early force on the ult from Peter. They back off. They avoid Cuz on the re-engage. And then Ruler finds space on the side of the fight to go aggressive. Duro finds another hook. And Gen.G were just dancing around that fight perfectly.
And what goes up must come down.
Ahead of his opposite man, already on his going towards his 3rd item as Dokdam only sits on one. Perfect looking for the flank. The Drake begun. Hex flash forward. Canyon dives onto Peter. Riptail has been summoned towards the top siders. They go in for the fight, and we see KT able to secure the Drake, but Peter now needs to retreat. Perfect looks towards the top side, trying to distract Canyon. Peter falling lower. Down comes the anchor and sends him into the depths. Gen.G find another. For KT, they got the Drake, and that's really all they wanted. Riptail charges in. Perfect matches it. Should be able to kill it off. Duro with a good hook away, but BDD still on the chase. Depth charge! Arcane shift! Mystic shot from Ruler, but into the Supreme display of talent as KT turn it around. Canyon forced away as they chase forward onto him. Perfect finds another. KT turn around the fight.
See, if they just are going to start it, it looks like they will.
Double to B.
A couple of wards in the back of the pit from Gen.G as they look to gain vision around it. Perfect looking for that flank, no wards where he is. Duro going in with the hook. Drake down to 6,000. Perfect still peeking his head out as they dive in. Canyon looking for the steal here, but it's Cuz that gets it. BDD forced to flash away. Here is Angels from Chovy in the pit. Keen diving forward. Ruler caught out by Perfect. Canyon falling lower as Cuz finds 2. KT winning the fight on the bottom side, but the top side is all in favor of Keen. Ruler almost going down. Chovy still on the chase. Dokdam trying to get away. Perfect and Peter trying to protect him. The flash away from Dokdam. The taunt short from Chovy. Chovy falls. Only the top laners left alive, and Perfect will burrow his way away.
KT, they're going back for the red buff to try to buy time, but that's been spotted. They're too late now, it feels like.
Cuz might look for the steal. Baron coming onto the rift, but Gen.G already secured the Articon. KT backing away. Cuz still looking for that supreme display of talent, a game changer. Having chunked out the enemy AD carry, can push for the tower.
Really well played there by Doctom, just playing around vision around that corner. Gets Ruler so incredibly low, they're threatening.
Gen.G have to back away. The risk of getting knocked up there, the follow-up from Peter would have been enough.
Oh.
The problem for Gen.G is they don't really have vision around this area at all. They've got a single control ward, now a couple in that mid lane bush. Peter caught out with a hook once again as he has to flash away. Has the honey fruit to pop himself up as Ruler lands the damage across the wall. He couldn't see him! It was blind and Ruler finds his man. KT now a man down, can't defend. The Drake secured, so point for Gen.G.
Yeah, the problem is they're just going to go to Baron, I think, here, and they're just going to force your hand. Peter getting caught back-to-back fights. This time he doesn't have the ulti. And BDD and Perfect were pretty late to the fight, so Gen.G just walk through mid. They get the Dragon, they go to Soul Point, they take tier 1.
Out a bit of vision, Cuz hasn't been seen here. Gen.G, the Baron down to 6.5k. Canyon and Ruler still on it. Cuz still looking for the steal. Perfect and BDD down towards the bottom side, distracting the rest of Gen.G. Cuz can jump in. The Winds of War from Chovy. Duo knocked up. Redemption out. Canyon almost falling as Cuz dives into the pit. There's no jungler there. Canyon goes in and he manages to land the smite. KT now on the back foot. Public execution from Keen, not quite connecting, and KT turn and burn. Peter's here for a little bit more. The hero's entrance won't be quick enough to save his support. Perfect diving onto that backline. Chovy falling lower. Keen forced away towards the top side. Chovy with a stopwatch. Doctam can't land. The piercing arrow through that. Flash away. The Realm Warp gets KT out, but Gen.G secure the Baron.
An overstep there towards the end again, looking for that blade to equalize it. As the Rebel Baron power play will be in favor of Gen.G. Never gets old. Ruler doing an incredible amount of damage in that fight, and now Gen.G, we've seen him in his position. Last time it was Kenyon going in too deep. They get a redo this time around.
BDD's pushing in a side lane. KT have already given up the ghost on this inhibitor and, well, at least the tower. Gen.G can push for more. Chovy's pushing in mid for that tier 2. The inhibitor will go down on the bottom side as KT look to defend their mid tower. BDD does have the TP. Chovy's a little bit isolated here. Ruler Arcane shifts across to make sure his Galio can walk to safety.
Hold off on most of this. Obviously, the big issue is that upcoming possibility for a Soul mid lane turret also will fall as the rest of KT just looking to base and setting up for this upcoming fight.
And you always have to get concerned when it's going to come down to one of these objective fights about the vision, right? When you look at Gen.G, how they're playing in this space, taking that over, sweeping out wards. Yeah, the Baron's gone, but you know that KT had been locked up in their base for so long that they haven't been able to get out on the map and reclaim vision. And Peter has been getting picked a number of times, and it could be a repeat.
Flash hook, immediately they look for Cuz, they'll take out the jungler. Ruler finds the kill, and now Peter tries to flash away, tries to get to safety. KT will shepherd him back into the base, but Gen.G don't even need to turn towards that Drake yet. They can push for the tier 2 on the top side, they can push for the inhib tower on mid.
And Gen.G not wanting to repeat their mistakes of game number 1.
Spot that Keen set up that pick last game, like you're saying, you know, but then it was Kenyon going too far. It was the fight getting turned around. This time, they basically get a redo how they are controlling vision. They're just moving in, clearing out all these wards. They're making the approach so difficult for KT.
And that's kind of a flex from Doctom, right? Like being up.
Peter's going immediately. They dive into Chovy. They have the Chain of Corruption coming out as well. It's going to land a Torn, the Crescent Guard out as well from Canyon. Chovy falling lower. Perfect's on the flank, lands a double knockup. Chovy needs to get out, and he will. A public execution slays the cow. Roast beef for Keen as he finds 2. Doctam will follow. Canyon dives back in, flashes away, still has the Angel to bring him back to life, and now Keen can advance, and Cuz can do nothing but flash and a try to get himself out. Keen will chase for days though. Cuz forced down towards this blue side jungle. KT lose the fight. Gen.G, do you stick or do you twist? It looks like Baron is their target. Hit the Mystic shot. Perfect here. The TP in from BDD. Another TP to follow it as KT think perhaps we can take the fight after the big purple worm. Peter's here to join the fray, but Baron already for Gen.G. KT now back away. The Realm Warp used. True shot barrage on Cuz. Almost takes him out. Away that slow. It was here that BDD managed to do it, but he doesn't have the same impetus to engage, doesn't have the same tools in his arsenal to get their inhib on the top side, taken by Gen.G. Now KT will put all 5 players to defending this mid lane wave that Chovy is going to begin to bring in. Gen.G though can still use the top side, knock up onto Keen, he dashes away. The route onto Jura with the Rune Prison, Perfect falling lower. Forced away by Ruler. We'll be able to heal up in that passive. True Shot Rush dodged by Cuz, but not by Peter. A public execution onto the backline. The knockback onto Keen immediately. The redemption coming out as well. Crescent Guard BDD trying to get onto Duo. Will find it. The taunt onto Cuz. Keen dashing in. Knocked back under the tower, but Ruler untouched. Canyon untouched. Chovy untouched. And Gen.G marching down mid for the win.
And you know Ruler is calling for that. Pentine comes right now. Already picked up his double. KT though, they're going to try and hold on. TP's going to come in. Baron buff still for another 10 seconds.
Reset coming out from Chovy. He's finished a neat death cap. The Rabadons for that extra bit of damage. The Nexus Tower's falling. Ruler and Chovy take the first. Keen trying to get this wave in for the second. Perfect. Dr. and Peter needs to try and defend, but Peter's already back in the base, just healing up on that fountain. The Nexus Tower falling lower. Ruler with a True Shot Barrage can still arcane shift away from the oncoming Rek'Sai. The Nexus Tower will be taken. Keen behind them. KT trying to defend, but they just don't have the wallets. Gen.G will answer the fight and go 1-1 in the series.
Gen.G battling back here. KT kept the pressure on.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.